Hey guys, we're back with another one. And this interview is special. Well, all the interviews are special. Let me say that. Everybody's special. We love everybody, but this one is special. I'm gonna give it 2 specials. I'm your host, Raquel. Super excited to be here. My handsome co-host, Malik Santiago. Jane. Okay. And our guest tonight is the wonderful D'Asia Blush Cassadine. She is going to share some really cool shit with us, but beyond that, I think some life-changing things with us. But before we really jump into that, I'm going to let Malik give us highlights. I don't know what he has, but he's going to give us some highlights before we get started.
Yeah, so my highlight for today is Lil Nas X. Lil Nas, yeah. Hey, listen, I like him.
Great.
I did that one. Lil Nas X recently teased us with a Christian era gospel song. He recently tweeted, "Making Christian music does not mean I can't suck dick no more. The two are not mutually exclusive. I am allowed to get on my knees for multiple reasons."
Oh my God. My God
loves that, and I wanted to highlight that because some people have this thing where they believe that transgender people, non-binary people can't serve God, don't love God.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but I wanted to highlight that because I think it's important that he gets to have that platform as well. He gets to love on God and sing them.
He does. And he's a creative. I think people forget that he is a true creative and he's working in his most authentic self. So it's no telling what the young boy will give us. But I think he's a little bit off his rocker. I do like him too, but my God, sometimes he makes me clutch my pearls.
Yeah, he's very edgy,
Yeah. But yeah, shout out to the young boy. Keep working, keep being creative. If they're talking, then you're doing something right.
Right.
Before we get started, we always tell you guys that we lead with love and this is a safe place. We're going to have lots of conversations on this show, and there's nothing off limits on this show. Not only do we support each other, we talk about health, not just physical health, but also mental health. Like we said, nothing is off the table, and we give you the realest of the real. So, as I said earlier, Miss Blush, introduce yourself, love. Tell them who you are in all your glory.
I am D'Asia Blush Cassadine. I am a trans woman. I am also a drag entertainer, and I have been doing so for next week is my birthday, and my birthday is my drag anniversary. I started doing drag on my 14th birthday.
Wow.
And I'll be turning 14. I will be turning 37. Most people in the drag community probably would think that I was older than that, but they didn't realize that I was 14, saying I was 19 or 20.
Gotcha. Now, before we go any further, big shout out to the TRANSworld pageantry system. We see that beautiful pin that you're wearing. And this is our 23-24 queen. She reigns. So check her out. She's going to be doing a lot of cool things in the community as she supports the pageantry system, but also as a representative of herself and all the amazing things that she is. I don't think to the entertainment world you need much of an introduction, but to those of us that are not in the entertainment world, tell them a little bit about all the pageants you've won and what you got going on right now as far as entertainment.
All the pageants I won?
Yeah, let's give them to the kids.
I ain't gonna lie, I can't remember them all.
Well, give us what you remember. It's okay.
Okay, let's see. I will start with newcomer stuff. So as a newcomer, I won Renaissance Newcomer, which was my first national newcomer pageant. I won National Newcomer. I won Oh, Jesus. I feel like I'm drawing a blank. I'm a former Miss Peach State Plus. That was the very first big national pageant I won. And that was 12 years ago. I actually was so that's why Miss TRANSworld is very important to me. I have been the first of a lot of things. I was the first Miss Peach State Plus. Here we are 12 years later and still going on. I was also like the very first, I was the very first virtual drag queen during the pandemic. When all that happened, I was the first one to go live doing drag show from my house. And then it went nationwide. Let me see, what else? I'm actually still rating something else. I've had it down in South Florida, but the owner had some personal things to happen and decided to no longer have the pageant for right now. So I'm in South Florida International still.
I'm a former South Florida.
You are. Yes, you are. And you broke down barriers because you were the first trans man to do that contract and win. But the things that I have going on right now is I am Miss TRANSworld, and I want to utilize the platform to change a few things. There are a lot of things when it comes to trans people that we don't have access to, and we don't have access to because there's nobody willing to stand up and say, hey, I'm trans and I need. I have had a few issues in my life. Well, not few. I've had quite a few issues in my life. I've been HIV positive for over 20 years. 23 to be precise. I've dealt with homelessness. I did survival sex work for many, many years. I have had mental health issues, and I've also had a substance abuse problem. And these are things that people don't often talk about, especially once they get one of these. They tell you, don't talk about your negative past. Well, I don't look at my past as negative. I think that everything in life that we go through makes us whoever we become. And at 37, I think that I'm a lot stronger than most people that are my age. I have a story to tell, and I don't think that my story is meant for me. I think my story is meant to help someone else not have the same one. These films.
Yes. Oh, and we're going to talk about all of that. I think one of the main reasons having a interview with you was so attractive to me is because you had so many storms and you're still here. You're still standing. You're still doing what you love to do. So we're going to dive into those things because I know now that you've mentioned all of it, I'm sure our listeners now want to hear and want to know. So we're going to start with just becoming trans and that transition. What was that like for you with family, friends? How did you navigate that?
So my transition started extremely early. Like I said, I'm 37. So when I was about 12 or 13, I had already been messing with guys for a little while, and I was not molested or anything. The first time I ever had sex with a guy, I orally, I wanted to. I had something as simple as I had a two-way, and my mom and his mom saw the messages in the two-way. And one day my mom picked me up from school, and we pulled up to the house. I said, wait a minute, this ain't our house. This is this house. Oh, street. I'm in trouble. So that's how my mom found out that, I like guys. I never verbalized that I was gay. I said to my mom, I like boys and I feel like a girl. Well, in 99, 2000, they didn't have a name for what that was. Fast forward, I was always playing in my mom's clothes. I was already sneaking out, going to the drag bar and seeing shows and all that stuff. And my god sister, her name was Ashley, but I missed her so much. She passed away, but she told my mom, he like boys, but did he tell you he like wearing girls' clothes too? And she was like, girl clothes? What girl clothes are you wearing? I steal her clothes and wear them. That following year, my stepfather passed away, and I decided that my stepfather told me at 13 years old, he said, be yourself. And he already knew. He said, be yourself, be happy. And he told me that my mom was going to have close opposition with it and that I had to push past that. He said, I know you love your mom, but be yourself. So by the time I was 16 in high school, I was already D'Asia. I was telling my teachers, and my name's D'Asia. Stop calling me dad because this is my name. And for a while, my mom kind of fought with me, but when she realized that it made me happy and that I was very miserable, she told me to move to Atlanta where my uncle lived and it would be easier for me. That was a lie because it was not. But for the most part, my family, I had a little trouble, like I said in the beginning, from, maybe 14 to 17. So about the first 2 or 3 years, because of course I'm young and there was no name for what it was. There are no books. I tell people oftentimes there are no books on parenting that tell you how to raise a trans child. They're probably going to come out with some now because we have so many celebrities and entertainers and people who have trans children. But at that time, there was none. Fasting forward to the here and the now, my mom told me literally about a month ago that the reason she had such a problem with me transitioning was, one, because she didn't understand it. She was afraid for me because I didn't know, but my mom at the time was a closeted lesbian. And she knew that people that did that she knew were posed with lots of harm and lots of hatred, and she didn't want that for her child. So it was from a place of protection, for one, but then this is the piece of resistance. We don't realize that our parents are still people. They're still human. Yeah. And she resented me because at 14, I was able to stand up and authentically say, I feel like a woman inside and I'm going to make myself that, no matter what anybody said. She resented me because she felt like, how dare you at 14 have this mindset, and her at the time at 35 not be able to stand on her own 2 feet and say, I'm a lesbian and I like women.
Yeah.
So she, she's human. And I love the fact that I talked about mental health. Her saying that to me lifted a weight off of me, because I had built up a certain level of resentment towards my mom because she didn't allow me to be who I wanted to be, and she didn't understand who I was in my entirety. But now, to the here now, I have my mom and I have 2 uncles. I had 2 more uncles when they passed away. I don't have a relationship with my biological father or his family, but I have my mom and my 2 uncles, and they love me wholeheartedly. My mom is probably my biggest fan. She's always on all of my social media. She's always at pageants when I compete. She was very upset because she couldn't come to this pageant because she's on dialysis and they didn't have a chair for her here in the city to be able to come and see me. But she was on Facebook with one of my kids, like, show me everything. I want to see everything. So yeah,
that's awesome.
I have a great relationship with my family when it comes to my transition. Yes.
I wanna go way back to the beginning. You said your mom found out through text messages.
I knew that's what your essence told.
And she took
on a side
the other person's house, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
Well, we walked that down, and this young man told his mother that I was forcing him to text me in that manner. And I said, Malik, you know who I am. You know how I'm very loud and dramatic. And I was always that way. I said, wait, hold up. Mama, I like boys. And I done gave him I done sucked on him and stuff. Ma'am, your son like boys. I ain't forced nobody to do nothing.
So how old were you and how old was he?
I was about 12 or 13 and he was around the same age.
Okay.
But I had already been doing it for a while. I was pretty good at it by then. Oh God.
Oh,
so my mom started to kick my foot. So he denied, all that. She knows all.
So did he deny it? The boy?
He tried to, but I always say his mom, she knew me too. And I've always been one of those people that if I'm lying, you can kind of tell. And she knew because I was so like, no, wait, hold up. Because I was scared of, I've always, and I still am scared of my mom. My mom is almost confined to a wheelchair. And I'm still scared of my mom. If she tells me to jump, I'm, yes, ma'am, how high you want me to go?
Like,
but
oh, mom, let me tell you what.
No, that I ain't forced nobody to do nothing, And now, of course, I know, what that would have meant. But at 12, I didn't know what that meant. I just knew he was lying and he wasn't finna lie on me.
Yeah. So what was that conversation after y'all left? Like,
that conversation was very quiet. I was sitting there looking because my mama, I'm from the old school. My mama backhand slapped the hell out of me in the car. I got whooped with extension cord. I got hit with shoes. I thought my mama was a superhero because she could throw a shoe and it would turn a corner. All of that. My mom, I could tell that she was upset and she was hurt. And I do remember a conversation that hurt, and I told her about this, and she apologized, and we got past it. A conversation she was having with my stepdad, and saying that she didn't want, a fag for a child, because I had my two uncles who passed away were both gay. Her oldest brother, her youngest brother were gay. And I can understand, you grew up with gay boys as brothers, and then you're also at the time battling with your own internal demons. So I get it. But my stepdad was an amazing man. He passed away in that following year from pancreatic cancer. He said, "That is our child, and we have to love them anyway." And that is still now how I base life and love, is that no matter what a person is dealing with or going through, if you love them before whatever, then you gotta love them after, during, and after. Like I said, I've had battles with addiction and stuff, and I've had people to stop loving me because I was addicted to a drug. That's kind of sucky, because that means you didn't really love me unconditionally.
And I do want to talk about your drug addiction, but before we go there, you said earlier that you have had HIV for 23 years.
Yes.
You're 37.
Mm-hmm.
So you were approximately 14?
Mm-hmm. So, like I said, I left home. I would run away and come back, run away and come back. My mom would make me come back. So, during that time, of course, at that age, you find whoever you find to find solace or comfort. And the people that I lived with were adult. And they told me if I wanted to live there, I had to be an adult too, that nobody was going to give me a free ride. The free ride was at home with my mom. So I was a prostitute. I worked the whole straw, as we call it, the block. One night out there, I chose to do something that you're not supposed to do. One of the rules and things that I was taught when I started to escort or work the streets was you don't get in the car with more than one person. The car had been riding around. There was two guys in there. Of course, everybody kept saying no. Well, one guy disappeared, and the guy was riding by himself. I got in the car. They took me somewhere. I ended up being gang raped. And when I went to the hospital, I was in the hospital for quite some time. And before I left, they told me that I contracted the HIV virus. And the reason I know that it came from that is because prior to that moment, I had never been penetrated. I had only had oral sex. So I knew that that's when and where it happened. And I've told my story before, and the reason that I do tell is because a lot of times, or oftentimes, when people hear that someone has HIV, it's always associated with, well, they made a dumb decision, or they were a whore, or they were this, or they were that. Well, I was an escort or a prostitute, but I wasn't a whore. I wasn't out just, having sex with, every and anybody. I was raped. I was gang raped by multiple people. It was 4 of them, actually, and they went to prison. Actually, I am 37 and they are still in prison.
So for educational purposes, he stated that before that happened, you wasn't penetrated, so you knew that it had to happen because you were raped. So for educational purposes, I need you to explain.
It is almost it's not impossible, but it is almost impossible to contract HIV, the HIV virus, through oral sex. Prior to that incident, I had only had oral sex. I was penetrated that night, and then I'll go a step further. When my attackers were caught, they were all tested, and 2 of them had HIV. And that was their way to say that this is what happened. The reason why they are still in prison is because at the time, the laws that are in place now were not in place, but their cases were retried, and we went back to court. So I have had to relive. I actually had to go to court a total of 7 times and tell the story over and over. And I'm from Savannah, Georgia, and in Savannah, that the judicial system is not it wasn't in favor of what I was, because didn't have a name. But I'm lucky I had an attorney. I had a staff of people that they didn't give a damn. I actually tell people that it was the luck of the draw. I actually had where the district attorney had a sibling that was trans. And he said, if this would have happened to my sibling, I wouldn't be standing here, because I'd be in jail. Wow, because I would have found a way to get some get back. So yeah.
So I'm still stuck here. And I just don't know. So I don't want to sound yes.
No, the only dumb question is the one that's not asked.
I can't understand how you cannot catch it if you are having oral sex.
Well, oral. So the HIV.
That's a good question.
Virus. The HIV virus is transmitted through needle sharing, which is blood swapping, or it would have to go into your body in that form. So orally, I would have had to have had
it cut in your mouth,
in my mouth, or it's only transferred through blood and semen, not saliva.
And it makes sense. I mean, if you think about it, for all the lesbians, I mean, you were once a lesbian, right? And we've had it's not like we use an ultimate protection and all that. And clearly, when you think about lesbians, it's almost non-heard of.
Mm-hmm.
For real lesbians, because how they be sticking and moving.
Oh God! But as my mom would say, sitting on the fence.
Correct. For real lesbians, the same thing. You don't hear about lesbians having it because it's saliva. That's the only transfer. There's no blood, so that makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah. So no blood, no semen transfer.
So you're saying if you swallow semen of somebody that has HIV,
you're not going to catch HIV, because the semen is going into your intestinal tract, into your digestive tract. It's not going into your bloodstream.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. And then
the step further, the acidic, the acid that is in your stomach that breaks down your food is going to be.
Dang, so it's safe to give us.
It is safe to get oral sex, but it's also the safest way to protect yourself is to have abstinence, to get on PrEP. I tell people to know I've been positive over 20 years. Like I've said before, I come from a time where my very first antiretroviral regimen was 9 pills. At one point, I had gotten up to 13 because the 9 pills made me very, very sick. I have had weight up, weight down. I've had when they came out with the 1 pill a day regimen, a triple, it gave you, they say it, because they give you a little warning. It's going to give you vivid dreams, and it may make you have hot flashes. No, bitch, I felt like I was sitting on Satan's ass crack, and it was not a vivid dream. It was a fucking nightmare. I was being chased by rabbit, giant purple bunnies in my dream.
Wow.
When you first found out, were you by yourself, or was your mom with you?
No, I was actually by myself, which is not a thing anymore, because I was a kid. They have to tell you, of course, with your parent present. When I first started out, I'll be honest, I ignored it. I ignored being HIV positive from that age all the way until I was 22. D'Asia Cassadine was my mom. I was living with her, and I had gotten really, really sick. And I was laying in my room on the floor, because the floor, for some odd reason at the time, was more comfortable than my bed. And she said, if you don't get your ass up and go get you some help, you're going to die. She said, if you die here, she was joking, but she said, if you die here, I'm going to slide your ass out there by the dumpster. I'm going to pour some starch down your throat. I'm telling you, it's a drunk wine. No, I hear about it's drunk. And I was like, girl, what? And then, so I left home early. Me and my mom didn't talk for a long time. And at that time, D'Asia made me reach out to my mom, because D'Asia thought that, I might be too far gone, that I may pass away. And she said that I didn't need to die with that weight, that burden still on my shoulders. And D'Asia is literally the reason why me and my mom are so close now. She kept forcing me to try. And she's the one that taught me about the construct that your parents are your parents, but they're still humans. They're just your parents, but they're still people, and they have emotions and feelings, and they go through things just like we do.
Yeah, that's a blessing. So fast forward, you already sleeping with a man, you contracted HIV as a 14-year-old. How does that play on your mental health? Like, is that are you struggling with mental health at this point?
At this point right now today, yes, I do still struggle with mental health. And actually a lot of the mental health issues I have don't have anything to do with me being positive. They don't have anything to do with me being a former sex worker. A lot of the mental health issues I have today have to do with a lot of the people that I've been around, pageantry systems, things that I've competed for, and they held those things against me. So it stifled my drag career. I was also, I used to shoplift. I used to fight a lot when I was younger. I went to prison, to jail for an extended period of time for some things that I did. And those things being held against me and they made me feel like I was less than. So it bothered me mentally. I've always had this, like, searching for acceptance, wanting acceptance thing. Here recently, I told people I'm just now at 37, loving who I am. I wake up in the morning, cold in my eyes, sometimes facial hair on my face, hair standing on top of my head, and I love all of me. And it's taken a lot of blood, sweat, tears, anger. Sometimes I just wake up and I scream as loud as I can possibly scream to just, be all right with me. But yeah, I deal with mental health. And I think all of us, I think every person in the world has moments where they feel inadequate or they get overwhelmed with life, because life be life.
Yes.
Life really, really be life. And because I don't have a lover, that's something that bothers me at times, because I think I'm a wife. And when I look in this, and I look at myself in the mirror, and there's a mirror in front of me, I am a wife.
That was going to be my next question for you. So does your status affect your relationship?
Yes, I don't think I've ever told somebody, even at what they call them, sneaky link, because I'm very honest about, my status. And I've been undetectable for quite some time, and I've had to explain, undetectable equals untransmittable. I've had to explain that often, but I've never really had anybody tell me, oh no, I can't, whatever, because of that. What it is, the biggest thing with me when it comes to romance is that I am transgender, but I am pansexual. So I like all people, but I am typically attracted to gay men, and most times feminine gay men. We have all these terms in the gay community. So I always tell people I look like the fish, but I act like the train. So I naturally have a very dominant personality. And I think that has a lot to do with me loving my mom and being that she was a closeted lesbian, but married to a cisgendered man. I watched my mama kind of call the shot, in a sense, and I am very, very much like my mother. I mean, we look a lot alike, but we act even more alike. So that kind of, it's always like I'm too feminine for gay men a lot of times, but I'm too masculine for heterosexual men who are trans attracted. So it kind of puts me in a very unique place. But everybody, anybody can get it. I always say I'm like Walmart, I'm equal opportunity employer, So go ahead.
So
go ahead. You can ask me. I'm not easily offended at all.
And I don't think it'll offend you. I'm just trying to get my shit together before I ask. So when you are
intimate, is that what you do?
Yes.
I'm
you
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like sex is sex, right?
Too. I agree with you on that.
I think I'm supposed to enjoy it just like you are. I had to argue. I've argued this. I've done lots of trans awareness seminars and the National Health Summit and all those things. I was with one gay man for 7 years, and they asked him, "Why do you like D'Asia?" And he said, "Well, she fucks me good." And they went, "What?" Yeah, he said it.
Did you take him to Red Lobster?
No, I did give him a Red Lobster because I can cook, so we're not going to Red Lobster.
Okay, and I'm
versatile. I use all parts of me, and they all work just fine.
Just fine. I gotcha. I think that's important because a lot of people, that's a question that people wonder and they don't ask because they think
this is something I also want to point out. So a lot of people, because I have two godbrothers who are heterosexual cisgendered men, and they asked me about anal play, and one of their girlfriends made the comment, "Oh, if you want it in the butt, then you're gay." No. What makes a man gay is to have sex with another man. If this man enjoys the terminology now is pegging, if he lets his cisgendered wife or girlfriend peg him, he's still a heterosexual man because he's having sex with a woman.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will say, "No, that happens." No, it doesn't. No, because I've met straight men who enjoy. I watched because I used to work at a sex store. Mm-hmm. That also had the swingers portion of it, with swings and everybody was, it's all inclusive place. And I watched the man get pegged, and in my mind, I can go too. And he said, "No, ma'am." He said, "No." He said, "Because yours is attached. I want the one that came with
He said now.
He said exactly what he said. And then it made me delve into it more. And then I'm a very literal person, very intelligent person, and I like to educate myself because I've been trans my whole life, and I think I know it a lot. I can still learn something. Sex is based. People think that gender identity and sexual orientation always go together, and they do.
Nope.
People assume that because I've altered my body to look like a woman that automatically means that I want to be pounded. Sometimes, but sometimes I won't mind pounding too. It's like a fight. If you hit me, I'm gonna hit you back.
Oh, wait. My. Definitely the kind of girl that I would not mess with.
You say what?
Definitely the kind of girl I would not mess with because I don't want no pounding.
Yeah, it's that type of party,
I understand.
So okay, that brings me to that also makes it hard sometimes for me to have relationships because I think that sex is not the main part of a relationship, but it is a very and I'm just sorry. We in a relationship. I don't want you to make love to me. I know you love me. Tell me that in the morning. I like to be what they say. Fuck.
And that's a fair statement. I'm
gonna get upset.
I know somebody very well, just like you. But before we go past sex, I want you to give a very clear and concise definition of pan, because a lot of people don't know what that means. So just tell us what that is.
So pansexual basically means that I am not dead set on liking anyone based on simply on their gender. I am attracted to men, biological women, trans men. I have dated a trans woman. I've dated someone who is non-binary, and I have also dated across the races as well. I like all people. I just like sexy people. What's sexy to me, may not be sexy to someone else.
Correct. Okay. I think that's important because a lot of times people don't know what it means, and then sometimes they're ashamed to ask the question. So thank you.
And I don't think I tell people often. The only people that I have a problem with and that I'm now attracted to are DL men, and I don't have a problem with them because of the reason, a lot of cisgender women don't like them because they they feel like they're helping spread HIV and STDs and stuff. I have a problem with them because society has deemed that only these certain things are correct and acceptable. And that because society has done that, that's where DL even comes from.
Yeah. Gotcha. So my next question is around drug addiction. And you told us earlier that you battled with drug addiction, but at such a, more recently. So not in your teen years, not in your 20s, but in your 30s, you're older, you're more mature, you're living life. How do you even walk into that door?
Okay. I was exposed to so many things when I was younger, but I was closed off to a lot of stuff. I will say that gay people taught me they taught me how to survive, but they sheltered me from certain things. When they would do cocaine and all those things, they would go in the bathroom or they would go away. And not my baby. And, Tanisha was my gay mother. Tanisha didn't even drink, at all. She was no liquor in the house at all, period. I remember I gave Tanisha a fruit punch with some Malibu rum in it, which is the sweetest alcohol you could buy. And she said, "Look, girl, you trying to kill me," So I will say that my drug addiction started, it didn't start. My taste for drugs started on my 30th birthday. I want to do some cocaine. I want to try some coke. And my boyfriend at the time told me, he said, "Hell no." He said, "No." And he actually was correct. He said that I have an extremist personality. Everything I do in life, I do big and bold. And he said that he didn't think drugs was for me because he felt like it would lead to addiction. He passed away and I decided, well, here she goes, so I'm gonna do what I want. So I did that. And later on, I'm a very real person. So they have something called booty bumps. It's where you take cocaine and you put it in your butt, or you take an ecstasy pill you put in your bum. So I have been doing that for a while. It makes you extremely freaky because it goes directly into your bloodstream. Well,
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I remember reading about this with Richard Pryor.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Same exact thing. And it was a way for you not to have residue. It didn't bother your nostrils. It didn't bother your teeth and all that. And it was a quick, instant. And you put it in there and then 10 seconds later, I'm feeling good. Well, I was messing with a guy who sold drugs. So of course, now it's readily accessible and easy to get because I don't have a fee. But with all that, sometimes comes a price that you're trusting someone to put something in your body. And he, instead of putting cocaine in my body, he chose to put crystal meth in. And he did that for about a month and a half before my body started to react, beyond just being freaky and having good sex and all that. I started to grind my teeth really bad. And then I became irritated, anally. I went to the doctor and they were able to tell me what he had been doing. And of course I went home and I went apeshit, went to jail and everything that day.
So wait a minute. So this is someone that you're in a relationship with, giving you
and living,
giving you a substance that you have no idea.
Yeah, and the hard part about that was because I, told them that I thought it was this, but it was this. In their mind, you told them to put something in you. So but I still didn't say you did. I told him to put one thing and it was something else. It's like if you go to a restaurant, you ask for a steak and they bring you a fillet of fish, you're gonna have a problem with it.
Yeah.
So then the next part was, of course, he and I broke up. And I tried to go to a methadone clinic to get help, to get assistance. And I was treated like street trash. And at the time, I had a full-time job. I had a beautiful home. I was a mentor to a lot of people. Actually, at the time, I had 11 adults living with me and 4 small children. So I couldn't just stop, what I was doing, but I wanted outpatient care, and they weren't willing to give me that. And they treated me like I was a junkie. And so, again, in my mind, I'm very smart, very intelligent. So I said, well, I know the premise of a methadone clinic is to wean me off. give me less and less of the drug until I don't need it anymore. So in my mind, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it myself. And surprisingly enough, I was able to do so. I weaned myself. I found me a plug or a person who sells drugs, those who don't know what a plug is. And I weaned myself off. It took me about 6 months until I stopped. And that was in 2020, I stopped. Because I stopped on my own and I didn't have healthcare to kind of assist me with it. In 2020, I lost 60%, 65% of my right lung. So a lot of times people are going to hear me cough. My voice is kind of raspy at times from coughing. So I lost part of my lung. So then we flash forward to the here now. From 2020 to March of 2023 this year, I was clean. I did a pageant. I lost. I became very, very depressed. And then I relapsed. And this time, so I smoked crystal meth before. This time, I began to use needles. I pointed. I put it in a syringe and shot it up. Well, the thing about that is it is a lot stronger and it is even harder to quit. And so when you said it's more recent than not, on Saturday, I told them, and I'm just a little over 40 days clean. And I've done, this time, I've done it on my own. I did go to a facility for, I think about 3 or 5 days. And just to kind of clear my mind and to stop it for a moment so that I could see clearly. Because what people don't know is that particular drug, crystal meth, it is a hallucinogen and it changes your mental capacity. It changes everything that you think is one way. It changes it and makes it something else. It makes you extremely paranoid. So people who I know love me and care about me, it made me question them. But because I thank God that, he kept my mind just enough for me to know something is wrong. Because I know this, I'll say, Ava Chanel Alexandria, who is my godmother. I know she loves me. My biological mother, I know she loves me. My former employee from a place I worked at Licks Atlanta for close to 4 years, David Wright, I know he loves me. And the drug made me think that these people were plotting against me. So I said, something is wrong. And I got it.
How do you say that? My godbrother battled with meth as well. And he called me in the middle of the day. He had relapsed.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, my dad is trying to kill me. What? He's like, please come get me. Please come get me. So I'm in a panic. I don't know what's wrong with them. I get there and I see him. I was like, what's wrong with you? And his dad's like, he just, he's high. He's going to be all right. I got him. And then, he's like, please take me. Please take. So we take him. And then he tells, he calls our god sister and says, Raquel's trying to kill me.
And then you realize, wait, something's wrong.
And I'm like, wait a minute.
So what's so amazing is just the other day, I had a friend she has a guy friend that she likes. And she said, girl, listen to this. He was on the other end of the phone. She put up on the speaker and he was like, man, they after me. It's a car and they just keep following me. These guys seen this car everywhere. Without knowing him, meeting him, I told her, I said, he does drugs. She said, no, I don't think so. I said, ask him. She said, hey, have you taken anything? He said, yeah, I smoked some meth earlier. I said, see, it does it. I've researched it in the last, even when I was doing it, I was researching it. It does it to every single person that does it in some way or form. Every single person. So I have been telling people, if you are battling with that addiction, if you know someone who is, find a methadone clinic, find someone to talk to, get some help, because I lost everything that I had. In the last 6 months, I lost my job at Lyft. I lost my car. I'm actually still going through the eviction process and looking for somewhere to stay. And at 37, these are things that I thought that were long gone. From 23 or 24 to now, I hadn't been homeless. I hadn't been worried about having a job or any of those things. And because I trust God, and I feel like He delivered me from survival sex work. It's something I refuse to do. I do think it's sad though, because I have had people tell me, "Oh, well, girl, you could put you up an ad and have your date." And you shouldn't be telling people that. You should be telling people to, to pray about it and to look for gainful employment or, those types of things. I mean, I'm also been saddened with the fact that I have reached out for help to people who I hold in high regard, and I've been posed with, "Oh, girl, that's your situation. Ain't got nothing to do with me."
Now, you said that all of your relapse literally stemmed from losing a pageant.
It stems from losing the pageant and how my mind interpreted me losing. So
tell us about that. Tell us about the pageant. Tell us about that process.
So I lost a pageant that this was my 7th time competing for it. Something that I still want to be and I will be because anything that I set my mind to will happen unless I stop trying. I lost the pageant on a technicality. For one of the categories, there was a rule that I had to say a specific thing during the presentation category. Either you say all of these things that you gain 70 points, or if you don't say them all, you lose 70 points. So I lost 70 points in one category. And so with you just having, owning a pageant now and Malik, you competing, that there's nothing I can do after losing 70 points in one category. So I told you all that I am a person that has been looking for acceptance from my community and from people for a long time. So in my mind, who I am, who I was, the things that I've done is why they went ahead and took the 70 points. I do believe, and I did believe then, that if I were someone else, if I were a more likable person, if I were more in the in crowd, or someone that is easy to be controlled, because a lot of times I haven't won things because you can't tell me to jump and I say how high. I only do that for 2 people, God and my mama. I think they would have overlooked it. And that's just my belief. Now I can say that and be all right. Then it made me want to get high to ease that pain to because the premise was, why me? Why not me? Why do they bend the rules for these people but not bend the rules for D'Asia? But the opposite of that is that I am a person that has fought for fairness, and a person that has fought for, things to just go the way that it's supposed to go. So I flip it now to make it a little easier for myself in the sense of, had I been her who won, I wouldn't, had it been the other way around, had they ignored it for somebody and she won, then I would have been mad. You know what I mean? So I think that they did the right thing. I didn't say what I was supposed to say. They got me the point. Whoever won, but it still hurt, and it made me very, very sad. And I do believe in God, and I do believe that the devil is real, and I do believe that in the midst of confusion, he can make a very, very vital blow. And he took attack and he struck me, but it's not about the fall. I said this in interview. It's not about the fall. It's about the getting up. And I've been knocked down quite a few times in life, but each and every time I've been knocked down, I've gotten up, and I think I get up strong. Because, crystal method has the ability to knock you way down. Like I said, I lost everything that I own, just about. Luckily, I was able to put most of my things, my belongings, my worldly belongings, possessions in storage. But my life is something that is, it doesn't have a price. And I was able to save that. So I still got my life. And I just hope that my story can help somebody else not have the same one, or their story not be as long. Because there's somebody somewhere, I think, listening that could have smoked crystal meth for the first time yesterday. But they heard this and say, "Oh, well, I don't want to lose everything I got. So I ain't going to do it no more,"
Yeah. It's a blessing. And you said this earlier, what you're going through is not for you, but it's to save someone. I do believe that.
I told him, and Malik, I'm sure you can remember that I look at life and I want to be like the greats. You hear about Rosa Parks, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King in books. And I hope that, I live my life and I change and I make decisions that will lead for me to be like those people. Those people did things and they laid a foundation for the lives that we live now. They didn't get to see the fruits of their labor. And I don't think I will all get to see the fruits of my labor. Hopefully I get to see some of it, but I don't think that I'll see all of it, because some of the things that I have in my mind, some of the constructs and the ideals that I have, things that I want to do in the world, I probably won't see them, but they'll be for people, long after me. Because I think that the world depicts trans men and trans women as the very bottom of the totem pole, but a lot of people don't know totem poles are made to be flipped, so that the tail will the tail will become head. And I tell people this also. It's crazy that you said corn preachers, that I don't think I will ever stand in a pulpit, but I can stand where the people are that need to hear me. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I just found out today that King James was in a same gender loving relationship. And I didn't know that.
And a lot of people don't know that in Greek mythology, and in a lot of other, in Arab history, trans people were advisors to those in power, because it was said that we thought with two minds.
Two-spirited.
Two-spirited, so that we could see things differently than everyone else. If you think about it, when people always say that there's no God in gay, I think that is probably one of the most preposterous ideas there is, because if you think about it, gay people make the world beautiful. Gay people happen to be some of the most creative, artistic, educated, intelligent, outstanding people in the world. It just is what it is. Trans people in particularly are I don't think I know a trans person that doesn't have a talent. I really don't think I know one. They're talented in some way.
I think I agree with that.
Yeah, they're talented in some way. They sing, they dance, they act, they rap. And most of us have multiple talents. That's like, people always compliment my makeup. Didn't go to school for no makeup. I just knew how. I just figured it out. I'm an excellent cook. I like to say that I'm a great entertainer. I'm very, very good with words. I'm good at public speaking. But I'm not the only one. A lot of them.
Yes, the talent was indeed amazing.
I spoke about my faith and my connection to God. Got to the pageant, and there was something else that I wanted to do for talent, and I'll actually be very, very honest. It was the same exact song that my competitor did. And so I asked them, I said, what do I do? They said, well, girl, do like you do everything else. Take it to God in prayer. The song that I did for talent was actually something that I used to do for talent as a newcomer. I haven't been a newcomer since 2010. I have not done that song since 2010 or early.
Right.
But the craziest thing was, and this song is crazy, I going through everything I was going through, I had somebody hacked my phone, and so I had to back up my phone, and that all my emails, like a bunch of old emails came through my phone, and I saw it pop up, and I just had listened to it, like I think Wednesday or Thursday. Oh, I need to pull this back out. So then, flashing forward to Saturday, she went to listening. The contestant went to listen to the song. I said, "Girl, cut my talent off, girl." She was like, "Oh, this is what I'm doing for talent." And I was like, "Oh." And so when my brain, did the thing happen, and I went to the bathroom, I prayed, said, "Lord, what am I gonna do?" It popped to my mind. You just was listening to it earlier this week. It's like, oh,
wait a minute. Hold on. Your talent, you didn't really practice for this, so this is something you did a long time ago, and then you just happened to pull it up, and you remembered all that shit.
Yeah, because it was made for me. It was made. So remember I told you I was with one person for 7 years. He is an absolutely amazing DJ in the ballroom community and a producer, and he made that mix for me. Yeah, in like 2010, 2009, and I used to do it for talent, but I had not listened to it in all that time. I listened to it. I think I was able to listen to it twice before talent happened. And I was like, okay, girl, we're going to go on out here. And I know you all were recording. If the photographer was recording before talent started, I sat down in the chair and I said, Lord, One, let these lungs just give me a breather for at least 6 minutes, because it's time is 6 minutes. I don't need to cough in the middle of this song. And Lord, just let all the words come out the way they're supposed to come out, and let me be on every cue. In Jesus' name I pray.
So we're just recapping and talking, Malik and I and Raquel and I are sitting down at a table, and I was like, this lady knew every word of the, like, and because you are so
dramatic,
you're so everything, you could see your mouth. You could see the words coming out of your mouth.
Body.
Like, this is like 7 different songs. This is 3 or 4 movies. I'm a writer, right? So I know, like,
so I'll even tell you where it came from. I did years ago, Raquel Lord, who is a very noted, legendary drag entertainer, and she had a talent show at a club downtown that doesn't even exist anymore, called Cafe 91. And it was like a 10-week competition. Well, for the final in 2009, actually, the last challenge was you had to pick your opponent's poison. It was me and 3 other contestants. And they said, do a dramatic performance with movie clips incorporated that must last 6 minutes. That was the challenge. That was the contestant told me to do. So in 7 days, I learned that, and I did it for the talent competition. I won, and then I did it in my next pageant, which was Renaissance Newcomer. You asked about pageants, I won, which was Renaissance Newcomer, and I won talent. And I did it maybe 6 or 7 times. And then when I stepped up to Plus Pageants, I did another monologue talent, with the movie clips and song. And it's just kind of sort of like what I've done most of my drag career. So that's kind of like my jeu. That's my thing. And not to tell everybody my business, but I am an aspiring actress. I have yet to audition for anything, but it's something that I really, really would like to do. I would love to act. Oh, Jesus.
Well, I tell you what, I'm shooting my next film next week in Atlanta. I'll give you the details and I'll bring you on set.
Oh.
Yep, I'm shooting my next film in Atlanta. We actually have a premiere. Malik and Raquel are coming to the Carolinas because we are premiering our next film on Saturday, which is
that is a good day for TRANSworld, because Saturday will be my very first booking as Miss TRANSworld.
Yes, I know, I'm aware.
Okay, I just wanted to I wanted the people to know.
Just on that crown again. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes,
I love my crown.
Miss Blush.
I love my crown. It's heavy, y'all.
Nonetheless, this has been a great interview. For me, I think it's very inspiring to hear all the things you've gone through, but to see you, because you don't look like what you've been through. And I think that's magic to me. That's magic vibes.
And also, I want to make sure that people know that Blush is an acronym.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very big on branding, but it's not just branding for myself, it's branding just for the world in general. It means believing love unconditionally still heals. I think that maybe I wouldn't have gone through some of the things I went through if I had just a little more unconditional love, but I give it to people. I give it to people often. And now at 37, being 100% happy with who I am and who I've become, and knowing that God has his will, and he's working through me and with me. I love myself unconditionally. I don't beat myself up for some of my mistakes and my inadequacies and things that I've done wrong. I'm human. We all make mistakes, and I'm growing and I'm learning and I'm getting better so that I can help other people grow and learn and get better.
Yeah. And with that said, we're going to wrap this one up. I think we've gotten so many nuggets that you've dropped.
Oh my God, it's so funny. That's my dog's name.
Nugget?
Yeah, Nugget. I think my baby's got him outside, but yeah, my dog.
But I think this show will help somebody, and I think even save a life, because like I said, you don't look like what you've been through, and you've had some storms. You've had some storms. some heavier than others. So thank you for sharing your story with us. Thank you for being so open and so transparent. We hope to see you again. I'll follow up with you for sure, because we're shooting next week in Atlanta, and I think we can put you someplace and give you some work. Some work without an audition. So, but you're gonna have to audition next time. We'll get you on set, and we'll make that happen for you. We'll do that. Thank you so much, Malik. Any closing words before I close this thing out?
Yes. So here on this TRANSworld podcast, we are creating a safe space for our trans brothers, sisters, and our non-binary counterparts to just be able to tell their truth. We would love to have your business for advertisement. Listen, we are trying to save someone. We are trying to free someone. So having your sponsorship will help us get it to the masses. You can follow our social media platforms at Raquel, RAQUELRT3, at TRANSworld, ATL. And you can follow me at that's the number 1 gorgeous _ church boy. Also, please go over to our YouTube channel and follow us at Dreamcatchers Productions. Thank you so much.
Yes, we need your support. We're super excited. We are going to wrap this one up, and on It's a TRANSworld podcast, it's all about educating. It's all about sharing experiences of our trans brothers and sisters, as well as our non-binary brothers and sisters. We want to talk about diverse experiences and everything in between, above and under that. This is about triumph. I think Blush's story definitely is triumph. I think if you didn't feel that, then you missed it tonight. You missed it if you didn't catch the triumph in her story. Thank you so much. I'm Raquel, your host. Can't wait to see you guys for our next show. And remember, love is love. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time.